What's up, YouTube? This your boy Big Boy Facts Johnny, and today I'm gonna do an article called "Why is CM Punk the best in the world?" So you guys are new, hit that like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel, follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok down below in the description, and let's get started. It was another episode of Monday Night Raw, World Wrestling Entertainment weekly program where the storylines are often stupid and the wrestling is often bad, and CM Punk is what's fed up. After working in WWE for 6 years, his career has stagnant. He was popular, but not as popular as John Cena, who looks and talks like G.I. Joe come to life. He won the championship, but didn't keep them for too long. He signed the company, but didn't have faith in him as a wrestler people cared about. Even though he sharpened a soft body and cropped once long hair into a short, slick back style, he still didn't fit the idea of a muscle bound California type hot guys summon to mind when you think pro wrestler. Regardless, the CM Punk stood for Chick Maggie, the WWE process and family friendly version of professional wrestling, which it really admits it's a different kind of USA Network drama. But CM Punk, whose real name is Phil Brooks, was a throwback to a wild bygone era, covered in tattoos and boosting a lip ring. He looked like someone you find scrubbing glass at a dive bar. A company executive once claimed under wrote that he was probably not your best looking guy. He was an outsider. It was right there in his name in 2011. It didn't seem like there was any room for that on cable television. The story goes that CM Punk, whose contract was set to end, was seriously thinking about leaving WWE, either to work for another company or to just call it a day. After more than a decade of abusing his body for however reason, on this night the writers of Raw put a microphone in his hand and instructed him to tell the arena of people what was on his mind. The resulting speech, which will become known as the pipe bomb, for its unexpected. For City is now regarded as one of the most captivating monologues ever performed by a wrestler. Over 10 minutes, he lay into his coworkers on the fans row against his boss about how his talent had been misused for 6 years. It's been the best ever since day one when I walked into the company, he said, visibly seething in between his garments. He wove in some typical wrestling storytelling, claiming he will win the top championship from poster boy Cena, even as his contract will soon expire. Watching the footage today is exhilarating, even if you not nothing about wrestling. Punk Wrigley's indignation resonated not just because his audience also heated their boss and their co-workers in their jobs, but because his livelihood was supposedly rooted in falseness, false punch, false storyline, false character, and yet he sounded so real. Unlike other art forms, besides reality TV, which has much of its from wrestling. Professional wrestling blends fiction and non-fiction until they become impossible to this genius. And in this moment, he did not seem like an actor, only pretending to be a disgruntled employee. As he broke the fourth wall and aired tattoo topics before a televised crowd of millions, he insisted that for all of the wrestling business, the only thing that's real is me. CM Punk famous pipe bomb speech. I remember this pipe bomb to this day. He cut a great promo of the pipe bomb. CM Punk believed he was the best performer in the world, capable of carrying the company on his back. WWE did not. It seemed impossible that his boss would ever legitimize his belief in himself. But shortly thereafter, he did win the top championship from Cena in a match immediately considered to be one of the best of all time. It was a shocking turn of event. This marginalized weirdo being the homegrown hero, but his speech had been the catalyst for his trump. Again, this did not seem like a phony wrestling storyline. Through sheer rage and force of will, he had justified his claim of being the best in the world. He had a dream and carried it out, and then he was done. As of today, CM Punk has not wrestled a match in 4 years. Instead, he is most recently known as a failed mixed martial arts fighter. He carried a 0-2 record in Ultimate Fighting Championship. Punk did not appear even a little qualified to participate in either fight. He looked like a fake tough guy trying to be a real tough guy, and got punched in the face a lot of his fighting skills. One of his opponents, who almost immediately placed him in a suffocating chokehold, forcing him to quit the match in a little over 2 minutes. He said he is a phenomenal actor. Things had gone all right for CM Punk for a while after the pipe bomb. After winning and quickly losing the championship, WWE writes its storyline with the consistency of a 5-year-old. He won it back and held it for all of 2012 before losing it for good at the beginning of 2013. He wrestled more mainstream star like former WWE champion turned action hero Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who has one of the targets of the pipe bomb. It seems retired MMA fighter Brock Lesnar, a sign the company trusted him to face off against its most marketable name, even if he always lost. He wasn't in the championship picture anymore, but it was only a matter of time before he found his way back. But at the beginning of 2014, he decided to quit, walking out of the company before an episode of Raw and staying at home for 6 months until his contract was over. CM Punk and John Cena square off in an episode of Monday Night Raw. During that time, fans wanted his absence was all another premeditated storyline. Refused to believe he was really gone. They chanted his name at live events and obviously speculated about when he would return. If not if it's clear CM Punk loves wrestling in the In the same way, Shawn Michaels, Paul Heyman, and Chris Jericho do too. One Reddit user wrote, all of those wrestling personalities has taken temporary leaves from the business, citing exhaustion before returning. I have no doubt in my mind I will return eventually. Instead, he was completely absent for almost all of 2014, even as his contract expired, until dishing about everything on November. Broadcast run by one of his best friends. As CM Punk told it, his relationship with WWE has been screwed up for a long time. They didn't trust him to be the top guy, and not even after they give him the championship. They ignore his ideas. Even a stars like The Rock and Brock Lesnar got preferred title treatment. They didn't believe him when he said his body was breaking down. He worked through the pain and kept wrestling. Over time, he wrestled that professional wrestling was not something he loved anymore. It had become a job he hated, and with millions of dollars in his bank account, it was time to go home and do something else. WWE makes me who I am, he stated. I was CM Punk before I got there. WWE was a pit stop, and it will not be defined based on what I do for a living. Don't think anybody should be. Writing comic books was one thing to do. MMA was another. He had long been a fan, and for someone who pride himself on being old school, it was be a Trump to hold his ground in an unscripted fight. He signed with UFC at the end of 2014, and he began training. His first fight against unheard round rookie Mickey Gall took place a years and a half after his signing as one of the premier fight of the UFC 203 pay-per-view. Arguably, UFC is both the name of the company and its monthly pay-per-view. Is like if the Super Bowl was called the NFL. CM Punk lost, and he lost badly. The footage is embarrassing to watch. He was nowhere near the strength of Gall, who pummeled the out of him, and had nowhere near the skills required to avoid getting choked out. The reality was that for all his hard work and inspiration, Punk was a man in his late 30s with no special athletic abilities, attempting to pick up a sport that takes people years to master. After the fight, he was in life. You go big or you go home, he said. I just like to take challenges. This is a of a mountain to try to climb, and I didn't get to the summit today, but it doesn't mean I'm giving up. What was he supposed to do? Well, he could go back to wrestling, maybe not in WWE. With his was involved in a lawsuit after illegally defaming their inner house. Doctor on that Tell All podcast, he accused him of neglecting to treat a infection, but he could go back to the independent scene or maybe even Japan and move he teased during his character defining speech if he wanted, and he could once again be a top wrestler star. All he needed to do was swallow his pride and admit he failed. But Punk did not seem to want this, and he's frustrated at being asked about it. Only intensified and the months were on, because pro wrestling necessitated that its performers the truth in order to maintain a surprise or a storyline. His fans were not convinced. If someone was trying to make you think we're interested in something, wouldn't he just lie to you? That was all wrestlers do. 2 years passed. Early this month, he fought his second official fight at the UFC 225 pay-per-view, and he lost in one slide decision. At one point in the match, his opponent appeared to be taunting him rather than just knocking him out. Dana White, the head of UFC, he said he wouldn't have any more fights in UFC because he just wasn't good enough. He was now about to turn 40, his body in no better shape, and his skill yet unmastered. He made comments about chasing his dreams and was congratulated for doing so by some other wrestlers. It was less convincing this time. Not so long ago, Punk had really been the best in the world or close to it. Now he was nearly a laughingstock. The illusion that reward follow effort and that alone can choose who he wants to be means there are at every moment thousands of people leading him headfirst into the industry that is simply not meant for them. A great many float on the edge of maybe it happened, despite the obvious evidence that it will not. And when a man gets the kick out of him on pay-per-view, not once but twice, the logic conclusion is the should stop putting himself in a position to get the kicked out of him. But Punk said he will fight again, even if he lost. He will continue chasing the dream, and even if it seemed primarily out of grasp. It's sad that someone passionate for something that brought thousands of people joy could be so definitely exhausting. But I also find Punk consistent invocation that he is chasing his dreams to be unsatisfying too, because now they seem like the stubborn intense of someone who refused to be as honest with himself as he once was with the world. As the wrestler, Punk was especially rather and protective in the matter of bitter people convinced they have seen the sense heart of the world. He sarcasm and blatant rage channeling through a character who felt no need to be good or even likable, was not a horrible repelling force as it often is in real life. He sounded like a jerk, but a jerk who was right, and he functioned as a product for the at-home viewer who the extension of someone will stand on television and say, what the what is going on here? I ask the same thing as I watch him fall, considering the easy way out is right there. But in a small way, I understand. Once he made his living, but trying to make other people happy, now he answered to nobody but himself. His failure is in his own. But anyway, if you guys enjoy why is CM Punk the best in the world, please drop a like on this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok down below in the description. You guys have a great Saturday weekend. Stay safe, stay strong, and always stay positive. This your boy B-Boy Facts Johnny. Let me know what you think about the video. This video is going up, and I'm going to share this all over social media. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on my WWE WrestleMania what is it? WWE WrestleMania Backlash review and highlights. I'll talk to you guys later. B-Boy Facts Johnny, and now I'm out of here.